What's up, everybody? It's The Hard. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, as well as Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook with your host Komp and
my birthday.
Today's film is
Superstition, 1982.
Superstition, 1982. Oh boy. A witch put to death in 1692 swears vengeance on her persecutors and returns to the present day to punish their descendants. Boy, I really almost fucked up the word persecutors. Directed by James W. Robertson. Written by Galen Thompson, who did the screenplay, as Jonald D. Thompson. What?
Wow, he changed his name.
He changed everything, I guess. O.J. Simpson. No, Michael Osage Bell.
Wow.
He had some. They should have freed him just to make.
He got around. He was a naked gun.
So
he killed his wife.
The story was by three people. Michael O.J. Oh fuck! Why am I keep saying that? Because Osage Bell is the name, but I keep saying O.J. Brett Thompson Plate and Brad White. It stars James Houghton, Albert Salmi, Lynn Carlin, Larry Pennell, Jacqueline Hyde. No, that's
a bunch of people I don't know.
Her name is Jacqueline Hyde. Come on, that can't be real.
Is that really the name
Jacqueline Hyde? Come on.
That's pretty funny.
And Robert Simons. So Danny, why did you pick this movie Superstition?
Well, I saw it with a horror movie meetup group, and it was fun.
I'm convinced this is why you enjoyed this movie, because you saw it with a group of people and laughed and stuff like. Here's the thing, I saw.
Yeah, no, I guess that's true. It really adds to it.
Because I saw this last night and I was like, why did anybody put this in the theater? Like, why? How did this happen? Like, I was watching.
I thought it. I mean, I actually have really good memories of it from when I saw it.
Well, you were seeing it with people, right? Yeah,
we were all laughing at every single part. It was great.
Horrible movie. And I had heard about it before because I saw the scene where a priest is like standing by, and then a blade shoots out of the
table saw. That's the best
saw,
part.
Right? A saw blade comes out and goes right through him. Anyway,
it's so unexpected. It just happens out of nowhere.
Do you have the wiki open? Do you have something that explains what the fucking storyline is? I mean, I saw it last night. Surprisingly enough, it was.
I have. The storyline's pretty easy, but this is like a whole plot scene by scene thing. I'm not gonna read this.
I'm just saying that we don't know who the characters are, what their importance is to the movie and stuff like that. So
it doesn't matter what their names are. The point is, there's a fucking haunted house.
Yeah, right. So
and
the beginning,
it's a witch.
Now, there's a lot of stuff you can do with a haunted house. First things first. Before this, a lot of people must have got fooled to seeing this movie because the poster for this movie is fucking fantastic for Superstition 1982. It's like this. Cool. It's like this giant black shadow, which actually comes out towards the end of the film, and it's holding up who I assume is the wife from the movie. No, but she has longer hair. It's just holding up somebody. This is what they used to do because movies would only play. Certain times they didn't really play in TV and stuff like that, and the only way they can sell movies is with posters and video box art. So that's why the poster for this is.
I used to love looking at box art.
Of course, that's why
I'd go to the video store and just stare at it.
That's why half those movies were fucking shit. But this poster is incredible. I'd rather see an hour and 21 minutes just looking at that poster than seeing this movie.
I thought it was a good movie.
No, it's horrible. Come on, man.
They were gonna call it The Witch.
Whatever. I don't care. Either name. They could call it, I'm going to give you $10 million. This fucking stinks. So anyway, this movie starts out with a couple...
Apparently it was rated X, and it was banned in the UK.
I think that was just the board trying to save people from seeing it. So this movie starts out with a couple making out in a car in some area. It looks like it's an abandoned sort of field or something. Not field, but...
I have to say, though, right off the bat, it broke the trope, because I was like, oh, these people are dead.
Yeah, they got away because
they got away.
Some puppet is strung next to the window. They freak out and drive off.
As soon as I saw that puppet, though, I had bad feelings about the movie because I was like, "Uh-oh, it's going to be this level of effects." But then I realized that was just a prank, and from that point forward,
you thought that was an actual monster from the...
I thought that was an actual monster when I first saw it. I was like, "Oh shit, this is going to be a bad movie." But then, it got a lot better.
It's a joke played by these guys in their mid-20s or early 30s, and they start laughing. They're calling. One guy's inside the house, the other one's out in front.
Artie! Hey, Artie!
What was
he says it 30 fucking times. Hey, Artie!
Yeah.
Hey, Artie!
Some tells me that the writing in this movie wasn't as deep as they thought they was.
By the time that he said it the 10th time, every time he said it, everybody would laugh. I can
imagine seeing this in with a group of people. It's funny because
these horror movie veteran people that are just drunk. It was great.
I saw this movie called. Do you have the name of the group just in case people want to check it out?
Just go on Meetup for New York City and just type in like horror movie. So I don't remember what it's called.
I can understand why that is, because I saw this film called Special Effects, and it was like a 70s movie. It was I forget the director. It's a pretty notable director for making sort of schlocky films, and we saw it because Joe Bob Briggs was presenting it, and the movie was horrible. But there was parts where I was with my friend, and we would just we cried laughing at how bad it was. And I guess that's the reason why you see bad movies. Like, this is why the movie The Room, gets people laughing. Anyway, so it starts out with this prank, and one guy is in the house, and like he's just walking around. They're using these weird sort of handheld cameras to insinuate that there's a spooky ghost around the corner, and there is, because
spooky
guy walks into the kitchen and he sees like a knife stabbed through the wall. And he's still walking around. He doesn't have to walk around. He could just, go downstairs and leave the building. He could just do that, but he doesn't.
Yeah, they could have done a lot of things.
A lot of people could have done a lot of stuff in this movie, but they choose not to. And so what happens?
It wouldn't be a movie if they did.
That guy, how does he get killed? Oh, he looks into.
Doesn't he get his head chopped off by a window?
Right. But he looks at a microwave. I guess this was pretty.
No, and it like explodes. Yeah, and then his head's inside it.
There was a weird special effect with that microwave going insane, and something happens to him. He gets grabbed by a hand and thrown into the ceiling, which I thought was pretty cool. Like, I like that. I will say this: like, they don't play. They do that jump scare sound effect all throughout the film, and it caught me twice actually when that hand pops out and just throws people around. Like, that actually did scare me at some points.
That hand gets so much action. It's like they didn't have a budget for a body, so they just have a hand.
It really is. It's just a hand that lifts you up from the ground and
it's
throws
a scary hand that just comes in every scene and grabs people.
So that guy gets lifted and thrown into the ceiling. A second guy who's calling, what was his name? Hey, what name was he yelling? Albert.
Oh, hey Artie! Hey Artie!
So he comes
Artie!
He comes into the house, and he eventually ends up in the same room, and a really bad special effects head of the guy is in the microwave, and it blows up, and it leads to the worst.
Would that happen?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think
I've always wondered.
I saw I watched this thing called Last Stream on the Left, where they play random YouTube videos, and there's this guy who makes compost out of his own shit, him and his wife's shit. And he put dog shit in the microwave and it just started smoking. It didn't necessarily explode. Yeah, I don't understand
why. What's wrong with the
world? People are mentally ill. Anyway, so the head explodes, and it leads to the theme song of the movie. And I swear to you, it sounds like it's like a weird bass line, and it has trumpets in it. So it doesn't sound like a horror film. It sounds like you're discovering a new country or something, like that kind of music. It doesn't.
Right.
I think what they were trying to do is that same shit that everybody else is trying to do. Like, remember when we were watching Nightmare Cinema, and there was a horrible version of like Goblin score, like Suspiria, Giallo.
Yeah.
Like this seems like this is an even worse version.
That
of
movie
Giallo
was
music.
not that good.
No shit.
There was one good episode in it. I can't remember.
Oh man.
It was the one where the world was like getting uglier and uglier.
Yeah, David Slade directed this film called Nightmare. He directed a segment of this anthology called Nightmare Cinema, which is a black and white sequence. Just go watch the David Slade one. That's a good one. It's called The Road to Egress. Anyway, the theme song in this is like that weird sort of, it's a bizarre song that doesn't seem like it fits the film. And the only thing that I thought that was awesome in this is that I think obviously they laid the score after the film. And there's a scene where the guys, there's a part of the song that it's like, it's doing that, and then it goes, then you hear like strings or something goes, dun 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 dun, and it matched up to the part where the guy bangs his hand on the window at the same exact time, so it was on purpose that it went dun 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 like that, and I was like watching it, I was like, all right, this movie's shit, but that part was good. Like that was.
There's a few good parts in this movie. Okay, come on, man. Good. That table saw part is amazing.
That's good. I wouldn't say that's crazy good, but it was all right.
Come on, that was amazing.
The guy tries to go out the window, and he gets severed in half by a window for some reason, because windows can
like how much? I don't think a piece of wood would have that much strength in it. Like, come on.
No, it's a super window. Like,
it's a fucking window still. It's not
I can understand if a ghost like possesses somebody to have strength to throw someone across the room.
Yeah, but no amount of strength. The wood would break before it would cut him in half.
Yeah, so the guy's chopped in half and he falls out. So then it like cuts to, I guess, and it's weird because the movie just cuts to black. Like it doesn't have any real transition. I mean, it fades to black every scene, mostly all the scenes, and it goes to some, I don't even remember what happens after. I'm like, all I know is that the story ends up being about there's a priest, right, and
it's pretty simple. There's a priest guy, and this house is being used as like a halfway house for priests before they get put into a proper house.
Yeah, so if they need to get rid of
that's
their
it. And there's a family. There's a reverend and wife.
So it's a reverend who's a burnout who has a real bitchy daughter, like that one, the hot one.
Oh God! Shut your bitchy mouth! That was a great scene.
The one with the black hair is she's so pissed. Yeah. She's like so like. I guess she wanted a father.
Yeah, it really does make a difference seeing it with people, because when she said "shut your bitchy mouth" and slapped the sister, like everybody like erupted and
and the girl just stood there. It seemed like I don't. Anyway, so there's a family that's 2 daughters, a husband, a young boy. The young boy, I knew him from somewhere. I can't remember where he's from.
That sounds good.
He's from in my dreams. No, he was what the hell was his name? Billy Jane.
Justin in the movie.
Was it Justin? Okay, so that's Billy Jane. I could have sworn he was in a lot of other things, but I guess I was wrong.
Where do you know little Justin from?
He was from... he was
Billy Jane.
He was in Cujo, Just One of the Guys.
Okay, well, that's where we know him from.
Okay, he was in Just One of the Guys. Yeah, I can't remember, because I remember from the 80s.
He was in The Golden Girls.
Yeah, he's
and 21 Jump Street.
He was in The Burbs. Anyway, okay, that's something else. I don't think that was the same. He was in Silver Spoon.
Texas Ranger.
He was in. Yeah, he was like an actor. If you were growing up in the '80s and watched all those stupid shit, like you'd recognize him. Anyway, so he was in the Beastmaster too. Okay, right, makes sense. Anyway, so he's a little boy. I will give this for the film is that they.
He's a little boy.
He was. The movie killed off pretty much everybody in the movie, which I was not expecting. But I don't know if I shouldn't have not expected that. You know what I mean? Because like it's
well, the cop didn't die, right? The main cop and the priest didn't die. No, the main. Oh wait, he did die.
He did die. The hand grabbed him and threw him to hell.
Yeah. What about the main priest didn't die though?
Did you watch the same movie that I did?
It's been a week and a half.
He gets dragged into the water. It's the last scene in the movie. It's the last shot.
Okay.
What's wrong with you?
Shut up!
This movie's so good.
My brain is fuzzy.
Anyway,
Relax.
so the whole plot of the film is that this priest is.
I remember all the good stuff.
Wait a minute. Hold on, I'm just watching the movie. Okay, so this priest, these 2 priests, young priest, old priest. They are being interrogated by these 2 cops. Not interrogated, but they're just asking questions because obviously 2 people just died. So they're like, you should like drain the swamp, drain the pool that's there because
drain the swamp, right?
Yeah. He's like, you should clear this area out or bulldoze the fucking house because there's kids get killed here and shit like that. And the young priest is like, nah, let's not do it. So then a reverend moves in with his 2 daughters and his wife and his young son. And then it's just people getting killed left and right in the movie in very strange, random ways. Like, I like the idea that it was... I
enjoyed how, like, non-eventful it was. Like, a table saw just, like, with no warning. Like, that's what I like about it. There's, like, no warning.
I mean, I did like that it was random. Like, it seemed like some sort of weird...
It's just like you could die at any moment. There's no, predictability.
It looked like we saw... the very ending of a Rube Goldberg device, but we didn't see the first 50 mechanisms that started it. It just seems like the one guy the saw going through the priest, which was cool, and then like the guy working the elevator, and when he falls to his death, he turns into the worst figure, like wax figure that falls through the air, and he like gets strangled and stuff. It's a weird movie, like it. But I was just watching this in the middle of the night going, what is this shit? Like, it was just poorly cut together. It was so boring and dumb.
I didn't think it was boring at all. I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and the thing is...
I don't know. We have really different opinions on this movie.
Fair enough. I mean, I don't know. Because in the movie, like... For some bizarre, like, there's a little girl in white called Mary that's running around, and she's like, she doesn't seem like to be.
Yeah, that was a little confusing.
Like,
actually, that part was
a little confusing. I mean, the first point that you see her, you could tell she's there's something wrong when she's a ghost because she's completely in white, and she like.
And nobody's acknowledging her really.
Yeah, because she talks to a little boy, like if it's gonna be an important plot point later, and it isn't, and it's just bad. Like it's just. Like, there's no reason to have it.
You know what I love? I love when the little boy gets hung from the ceiling and the mom is screaming, and, like, They're so slow to rescue the mom.
But the thing is, the mom closes the door on her dead son's body, like instead of trying to bring it down like a regular person would. She's just screaming.
I mean, I would probably run if I saw that.
You would if you saw a family member like that, hung up like that?
They're dead.
Man, what a piece of shit you are. Anyway.
No, I'm just saying, if it's like clearly supernatural.
Okay.
It's clearly supernatural.
How if the kid's just hanging by his neck?
Because there's all this weird shit happen, and all of a sudden here's a dead body hanging. Why would it be hanging?
Man, this movie sucks. So anyway, more people die. Like, there's an incident at the pool where like the one of the daughters, the blonde one, is swimming in the pool, and because a cop gets killed earlier. Remember, he gets dragged into the water. Yeah, and like
that's a great scene because it fakes you out. You think it's gonna get him at the beginning part, and then it doesn't.
A severed arm grabs her leg, or it's gripped onto her leg. How the fuck can that happen? Who knows?
Who cares? It was great.
I guess it was the arm. I care. So, arm of a cop. That's the good thing about, like, two good things about this movie is that it is random. It just seems like random things just happen in this film. Like it almost feels like some sort of weird Japanese horror video game, or like old like, have you ever watched like old Japanese horror films? Like remember that movie that you didn't like, the first one, Evil Dead Trap?
Yeah,
it seemed like
I love the second one.
Yeah, right. No, the second one's great, but like it seemed like people just randomly died for no reason in weird death traps in the film that didn't. The guy, like the monster in Evil Dead Trap was like a psychic baby that could have just killed people. It didn't need to put mechanical traps to kill people.
Or what? But it was Hideki. Oh, what the hell was the name?
Hideki.
Hideki.
Yeah, Hideki. I think it was. But yeah, so he's like two different versions in both movies. Anyway, and then there's some old lady that lives in a cottage nearby the house, and she's
fucking hilarious.
And she lives there with her mentally ill son. I guess they call him slow in this, quote unquote.
Yeah.
I like the part where the old lady's like not helping the cop, and he's like, "You're an old hag." Like he just called her an old ugly hag.
I love how like every scene, it will have her slowly open the door and show her standing in that pose. It's fucking hilarious.
Did she die in the movie? She didn't, right?
I don't think she did.
No, and even her weird son didn't get killed either. He just kind of carted off to jail.
But
like only one cop made it out of it.
I don't know. It's just like she's like a weird sister from like Shakespeare or something. Like
yeah. And it's weird because then the last 15 minutes of the movie, or there's like a block of 10 minutes to show an origin story of why this happened in the hospital.
I fucking love the origin story. It was amazing.
Like it turns into like 16.
Yeah, but just like when it got all like bladed.
What is the point? You could.
It was just fucking funny.
The story of the film.
She turned into like Satan, and she's all like a monster. It was great.
Know, why did it go into like? It didn't have to. Like, no shit. There's a. Like,
but it was funny.
But Danny, you could see the movie, and I would see ghosts flying around and people flying in the air and shit, and then be like, "Oh, it's a ghost that did it." Do I really have to see 10 minutes of some guy like?
Yeah, you want to know the origin story.
Proctor
Look, I didn't mind 10 minutes of watching this lady screaming and shit and boiling the water. That was great.
And the old lady's face.
What was the reason? The reasoning for why they didn't set her on fire was really silly. He just didn't have the stomach to do it, and that caused all these deaths.
They just dumped her in the water and drowned her. And that guy is killed by. That guy had a good death though. Like he gets crushed in like I guess a grape.
It was a grape crusher or something for wine.
Yeah, so I don't know what is the point of this movie.
And then like that little
scare people, but
that
like,
little Mary girl like then the priest has that weird like text that tells you about all this shit, and then you find out that crucifix is like magical.
There's one magical crucifix where they buried the lake. When they killed the witch, they set the lake on fire or something? No,
they were supposed to set her on fire, and they didn't. Do it because
I think the whole reason is the cross somehow got out of the water.
Well, no, she was confined only to nighttime killing. But then when the cross was taken out of the water, see, I know the movie. I just forgot the very last scene when they took the cross out of the water. Now she's like free to roam. So basically, they had to set her on fire and then put the cross back in the water, and somehow, and then he finds out that little girl is actually the witch posing as a little girl ghost.
Yeah, because
something. That was confusing.
When that witch is on trial, they were saying, "Oh, you committed murder in front of a child, so you have to be burned as a witch. And then she's up there like it's fucking Fist of the North Star. Like somebody punched her in the head and her skin just started erupting because she's turning into a monster in front of these people. They're holding a cross and she's telling them they're going to hell and shit. And then you're going to drown her, fucking blow her up. Like,
do you think any of that shit ever happened in the Salem witch trials?
Like when they were hanging real people. No,
yeah, like or putting them in the water and
formed into monsters.
It was like they put them in the water, and if they drowned, they weren't witches, and if they rose
that
up,
did happen. No, that did happen. But I remember I actually saw something like that when I was jury duty, because they gave some sort of history about juries, and they said we don't want to go like the Dark Ages when they did the Salem witch trials, and then they will explain that not everybody drowned when they were like. Dunked in the water.
Yeah.
Like if they could tell you were drowning, they would take you out. So some people survived.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Mostly all that shit was rich people killing peasants to get their land. Honestly, there was a lot of corrupt shit there. No shit using.
Yeah, but I wonder if there was like one case of an actual witch.
Of course not. No, it's not real, Danny. It's not real.
I don't know. It could be.
Okay, very good. Apologies to witches that listen to our show.
No, I mean like witches that fly and shit. Like, I'm not talking about like witches like Wiccan. I'm talking like flying witches with like Satan and shit. Like the way it's depicted in movies. I wonder if there's ever been like one thing of that.
Who knows? All I know is that the
it could be. It's possible.
I know. I think in Europe, because I remember there was like a thing that was brought up in the film Hostel, that like the witch trials, the witch trials over there, because Salem witch trials, I think it was only like 100 people that, or some. It wasn't like an astounding number of people that got killed. It was still, I mean, more than one person to me is still like a lot of people getting killed for some stupid shit like this. But it was like thousands of people that got killed in Europe for those trials. So who knows? I guess they were more backwards than we thought at the time.
Europe has a lot of weird shit in their research.
It did. So this film eventually ends up with a big massacre in the house with actually everybody getting killed. I was very surprised that they killed all the
when the mom's getting thrown around by the hand. I was laughing because that's just so silly.
I did like and why did the witch turn into like an 8-foot like shadow man? Like what the hell was that? Like wouldn't you think it was a witch that looks like a witch or something?
Well, I think that was the witch's Lord Satan.
Was it? But why is he in this house?
I don't know, man. Who cares?
The brunette was hot though.
It was fun.
Asshole though. Yeah, so then when the whole ending of the film is the priest, he's been studying for the last... The
dad was so pathetic.
He was. He seems like, you know...
He just like a depressed alcoholic
like,
dad.
That was some good acting. He looked like he just didn't give a fuck about...
Yeah, no, he was like a real, like, depressed asshole.
So this guy, it's like a video game because the guy's walking around with a cross. He's able to open doors with the cross just by putting...
That was amazing when he exploded the door. Oh my god.
Slams the door when it explodes and flies back.
But it was just like stupid because he opens like 3 doors with the cross and then like forgets it. Yeah, and it's like
I know.
He's like trying to open the door with his regular hand. It's like, you have the cross in your hand. Like we're yelling at the screen at this point. Like, you have the cross. Open it. And then he explodes it and it was awesome.
And the stupid asshole brunette daughter, she gets a fucking nail to her head. I don't even know how you get that nail in. Well, I guess the monster could have floated the nail in front of the girl's head. It was a stake, and then she just kept hitting them on their head with a hammer for the stake to go through her head. And it was pretty graphic. That's a good.
I liked it. I thought all the effects in this movie were amazing. But when the saw came up, that really was when I knew I liked the movie because it just keeps spinning faster and faster. Mm-hmm. Like I expected it to get lodged into the chest, but it actually keeps spinning. That was the best part.
The effects were very good for the movie. Like they're sort of 80s Italian.
Come on, you know you like this movie.
This movie sucks. No, it's a bad movie, Danny.
It's got great special effects.
This is it has to be a special kind of bad movie where some of the gore is good, but even that for me was just like maybe I wasn't in the movie.
It's got very fun deaths. It's not very long. It's got a great soundtrack. It's got like crazy silly shit.
I cannot connect with this movie, and I have no idea why. It has stuff that I should like. But to me, it just felt like lazy and badly put together. It was awful. A horrible movie. I don't understand why people could like this movie. It was terrible. Like
I really liked it.
I think if you had seen this movie without all your friends, you would have been like, "Oh, this movie stinks."
No, I think I would have liked it still. Probably not as much,
then
though,
I
to be fair.
truly would have questioned your mentality watching this shit.
It's great.
Oh, there's a part where he's arguing with the little married girl witch, and there's like air blowing hair in her face, and she's like carefully moving her hair out of her forehead, even though she's a supernatural ghost. And then the guy
maybe it was the winds of the spirit world. He stabs her with a
cross, and she's doing the worst overacting ever. She's like, "You'll never kill me, never!" And she falls into the lake. Oh my god!
And he sets the water on fire somehow.
Because he threw gasoline on the water.
Yeah, but come on, it wouldn't be that much fire. It's a lake.
There's a 9-foot ghost throwing people by their heads. Of course that shit would happen in this movie. It's bullshit. And then it ends just like that scene in Creepshow 2 where the guy stands in... Like, at least if the guy had talked shit and he got... Just like in Creepshow 2 and got dragged in, that would make sense. He just sort of stands there, and then the hand comes and grabs him.
Well, you're talking about the blob, when the blob...
Yeah, right. And the movie just cuts off and ends, and it's just like, what was this? What did I just watch? I didn't care about anybody.
Yeah, why did that guy stand there? If you were just attacked by a blob and saw all these people getting killed, wouldn't you keep running? I would. I'd keep running to the highway. I wouldn't stop.
I guess he thought that he had defeated it. Much like the guy from Creepshow 2.
I would run until it was out of sight completely. I would not give it any chance to get me.
Of course, obviously, same here, but it's horror movie logic.
All these people are stupid. Don't brag. Never brag if you defeat a monster. Never.
I've only seen a handful of movies where characters are smart and left the movie midway and they never came back and they weren't killed. Only
and they survived. In the mist. Remember that... Is it? No, they die.
Dolores.
No. They drive by in the car. Yeah, they're okay in the mist.
Oh yeah, you're right. I remember that ending. What about the movie with that was the lady from the Walking Dead, right? The one with the short hair. She survived.
Yeah.
And also that movie that we saw, the found footage one of that old lady who like her mouth distended like a snake and she was trying to swallow the kid. It was called Dolores something. It was some horrible movie when they saw some supernatural shit happen in the movie and the guy said fuck this and he just leaves the movie. And the priest in Paranormal Activity, he walks into the house to bless it and he leaves the movie. That's smart. They should do that in movies more because people. I'd leave if I
leave. I'd be like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get less of a paycheck in this movie because I'm leaving.
Because I like the idea of the paranormal, but I don't necessarily believe in it. But if I saw something like that and there was no way that there could be like special effects, like some sort of Disney mechanism making it happen, I'd head for the hills. I'd be out of there. I'd be like, all right, I'm not staying.
Yeah, no, I would.
No, man, you can.
I would keep running. I would keep running and running until I collapsed. I would not stop ever. I would never look back.
In another country, still running at the end of this movie. I just could not get into this movie. I don't know what it is.
What's your rating?
I'll give this movie. Damn, I was gonna give it a 3. I don't know. Maybe I just have some anger towards the movie, but I don't know why because it's not
3.
It's not the worst, but it's just a bad movie, and I don't know why it is. I hate it because I'm sure this is.
It is a bad movie, but it's a funny movie.
No, I'm sure this is a classic to some people, like a great.
It's like one of those great, like it's so bad it's good. You're supposed to watch it drunk and laugh.
I don't drink though. All right, so I'll give this a 3 out of 12. Going to save the hot daughter that you were checking out, only to find she's gotten a stake in the forehead.
Okay. I'm gonna. Wow, we have completely different ratings. I'm giving this a 7 out of. I liked it. It's so bad it's good. It's like one of those.
Lord.
I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. I just had. Seeing your dead son hang from the ceiling and slamming a door in his face and running.
That's so ridiculous. That's so ridiculous. With that, Danny, what's the final word?
The Witch.
The Horror Deconstruction.